In this moment, there's a willingness that is within you. Meet this willingness and embrace this willingness. And let this willingness be recognized as your true power. The power of transformation. Power of remembering. The power of letting the dream go of separation and limitation. This holy willingness that is within may not be familiar, but it is truly present. It is your yes. The willingness to trust all the masters that have come before you, that all promise the same truth. There is only peace, there is only harmony, there is only magnificence, there is only innocence and eternal life. Acceptance. In truth, there is nothing difficult in accepting. False identity of pain and suffering shows you a road that is arduous, difficult. Don't believe the lie. Healing is in the ease of harmony. There is nothing in love that is being kept from you. There is nothing of God that is not right here, right now, within you. Beyond the you that you have perceived as separate, different, damaged, needing to be fixed, is the beautiful jewel of creation, and it is within. Accept the jewel. And reject the belief of damage. Reject the belief of struggle, pain, and suffering. In this moment, accepting that the road that seems to be a journey the way home is through every beloved. The way home is in recognizing the innocence of every beloved. And that every beloved is you, and that every beloved is the creation of God, perfect, innocent and whole. And that everything, every molecule, every cell is the light of God. All creation, already perfect, eternally perfect. And this cannot be understood through a concept of any kind. It can be accepted through the heart, the yes of love. And breathing in this moment. Breathing deeply into the yes. Letting the yes be stirred. Letting the fire of yes be ignited and kept burning. Breathing into every cell, into every molecule, inviting the light of love to bring remembering. Breathing. As you breathe deeply, breathing in through the physical body and all the energy bodies, and saying, yes, I invite the light. Breathing into the throat, willing to receive the truth of love. Breathing into the shoulders, arms, and hands, bringing the intention of letting go, letting the day go, letting the future go into the hands of God. And breathing into the spine, surrendering the spine into the hands of God, willing to be moved as the divine, willing to walk with ease, gently, easily moving as the instrument of love. And breathing into the heart, inviting the heart to open, undefended, affirming in the yes that there is nothing to defend, nothing to protect. Inviting the divine alchemy of love's healing, surrendering the heart to return into the hands of God. Breathing into the belly, surrendering everything, all the organs, all the functioning of the body into the hands of God. Surrendering the hips and thighs, knees, calves, ankles and feet, all surrendered into the hands of God. Willing to be the instrument of love through the body. Willing to offer love, express love. And breathing into the emotional body, surrendering the emotional body into the hands of God, willing to surrender all the beliefs of fear, all of the expressions that come through the emotional body, surrendered into the hands of God. Breathing. Willing for the emotional body to express harmony and peace, compassion and joy. the light of God. And affirming in this moment that here in the infinite circle of love we are one, inviting in all of humanity into this circle, this infinite circle that can never be broken, can never be altered. Ever beloved, the truth of love, innocent and free. This sanctuary is filled with love. This universe is all of love. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And within this life force we live and move and breathe as one. Not as separate identities, but one heart and one breath, flowing in the joy and peace and harmony of creation. Breathing. Allow this prayer to enter your heart, to stir the calling of love. Meeting the prayer that is within the heart in this moment and letting it burst. Divine light, divine creation and creator. Free humanity from all torment. Free humanity from all beliefs of limitation and separation. Here I ask for the forgiveness of the belief of separation, the belief of all separate identities. I say yes to the healing through the Divine Mother. Hear this child of yours. Hear this child of love that is wanting to come home. Here I ask to enter into true forgiveness, forgiving all beliefs of limitation. Let me come home and rest in the arms of the Divine Mother. From the heights of love, I ask for comfort within this heart, to remember, to stay firm, always staying in the heart, opening to all beloveds, all of humanity, opening and offering divine love. It is through prayer that the prayer allows the heart to open and remember, to ask for help, to step out of the belief of torment, to the belief of limitation, the willingness to surrender the mind. Meu São João, meu divino Criador, livra-me desta tormenta, livra-me de todo mal. Aqui eu peço meu perdão, para poder merecer a Virgem da Conceição. Meu São João, Padrinho Sebastião, olha por esta filha, pela vosso santo amor. Aqui eu peço, venho pedir o meu perdão, para poder merecer a Virgem da Conceição. Nestas alturas, eu peço meu perdão, eu peço meu seguro dentro do meu coração, para afirmar e ter sempre coração aberto a meus irmãos, pelo divino amor. Opening to the beloved, opening to every beloved through divine love, the willingness to express divine love, the willingness to offer the love of compassion, the love of serenity, the love of ease and innocence to every beloved, and the willingness to receive this love right now, right here. I ask to be held in the arms of the Divine Mother as this next Sunday in the United States is celebrated as Mother's Day, to completely open to the Divine Mother that holds all comfort, holds all ease, that will take all the beliefs of torment, all the beliefs of limitation and separation, bring your sorrow to place at the feet of the Divine Mother. Bring your mind to be given so that you can remember the heart, letting go of the mind into the arms of the Divine Mother. The yes to love, the yes to ease, the yes that there is another way, and that torment is not the way of love, that there is no torment in love. Accepting the peace and tranquility. Bringing all sorrow to place at the feet of love. Surrendering ownership of all beliefs of limitation. Yes to love. Feel your tenderness, I feel your tenderness, I feel the tenderness of your ever-loving hand, I feel your tenderness, I feel your tenderness, I feel the tenderness deep within. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel your mercy, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord, deep within. I sense your beauty, Lord. I sense your beauty, Lord. I sense your beauty, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I sense your beauty, Lord. I sense your beauty, Lord. I sense your beauty, Lord, from deep within. Sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord, from deep within. Feel the tenderness of love is to allow the stillness from deep within, that exquisite resting place where you give up the fight, where you give up the battle, the belief that there's anything to battle, and come home and rest in love. Like the prodigal son who has wandered the earth and is always welcomed home. Allowing that resting place. Just resting the mind into the hands of God, coming into the stillness that there's nothing to know, nothing to figure out, nothing to do, just resting and allowing. And then you'll see the beauty of God, always within and in everything within the world. The willingness to see through love. And in the grace of love, the Master Hafiz offers to drink from the well. Open the door or die. There is an invisible sun that everyone longs to see. The closer you get to the present moment, the brighter and more real it will become, even at midnight. To the poor slaves of this world, with their eyes chained to coins and unforgiving, the wondrousness of the firmament can cease to lift your head and impact your manners. What wing would not be depressed within a snare if that wing still had some spirit in it? And all your instincts to want to taste that stratosphere above the known. Open the door or die, unlock the cage or die, my master would say to me when I was young. Every beloved is being called to open the cage. Open the door. To not be in the snare that will take the spirit. The spirit can never be completely extinguished, but it can feel like it. You can feel like you're lost in the desert without water. Thank God it's not true. To recognize that the willingness to let go of what you know brings the water. The willingness. And to recognize that there is an invisible sun that everyone longs to see. And the closer that you get to the present moment and step out of the past and step out of the future, the fantasies of the future, the brighter and more real it will become. And time, daytime, nighttime has nothing to do with it. You will see this glow of light through the heart, shining, radiance. It's here in the present moment. It's right here. It never went anywhere. It was never hidden, really. It wasn't something that had to be made by your good behavior or even your willingness to remember. It was always here. It always is here. It just can't be seen when there's a veil that says, I know, and I believe in battle. The veil covers the sun, just temporarily until you're willing that the veil fall away. To the poor slaves of this world, with their eyes chained to coins and unforgiving, the wondrousness of the firmament can cease to lift your head and impact your manners. If your head is chained to what you think you know, it's pulling it down. It's pulling it down into the pain so that you can't see the sun, and you can't have your vision lifted into the firmament, into the heavens of all divine light. This is a divine calling to surrender the belief in material objects that hold everyone in pain and suffering. The coins that you believe will keep you safe, the coins that will, you believe, give you worth in some way, but that really can't and don't. And unforgiving. This is the chain of pain that holds you down in the mud. Not willing to forgive the false identities of everyone and everything, and the false identity that you've given yourself of limitation and separation. Somehow that you believe you've done something that has changed something, but affirming again and again that nothing can change the truth of love. Nothing. And love cannot leave its source. You have never left the heart of God. Never. It's not possible. You can believe you have, and you can believe that you're a slave to a world that seems like endless misery. But it's not true. Thank God. Thank God it's not true. What wing would not become depressed within a snare if the wing still had some spirit in it? So look at your disturbance. Look at what disturbs you and recognize that it is the spirit within you that is disturbed. That it is the spirit that is shaking to be freed. If you believed you were dead, you wouldn't be disturbed. Recognize that there is that truth within you that can't stand it, can't stand it anymore. To be snared by a limitation and a belief of separation. And let that spirit be shaken and opened up. The truth, the light, saying yes. I'm willing to see the spirit that is within. I'm willing to see the divine light that is the truth within. Open the door or die. Unlock the cage or die, my master would say to me. Thank God for every master that says, unlock the cage. Thank God. Thank God for the blessings of every teaching that call every beloved to unlock the cage. And to recognize that the cage was never true. And that you don't have to live in that cage, but to recognize that the cage itself is the belief in death. The cage itself, the belief that there is a cage, the belief that there is a battle. It's the death march, the belief of death. And all the while, love is whispering to you. Sometimes you can't hear it because there's too much shouting going on in the mind. But love is whispering. Open and recognize that only love is real, that there is no battle, the willingness to remember. There's a beautiful teaching that says, let every voice but God's be still in me. This is a big request. This is a big surrender. Let every voice be still except the voice of God within me. I don't want to hear any voice. I don't want to hear any opinions. I don't want to be misled anymore by what I think I know. Let every voice but God's be still in me. Let your prayer today, I only want to hear the voice of God. Today, I will not pay attention to any voice but the voice of love. This is a declaration of what you truly want, but maybe have been afraid to step that deeply in. But at some point, every beloved has to come to that realization that they only want to hear the voice of God, because the rest just keeps taking you in the same circle again and again and again, coming up with the same story over and over and over again. In deepest silence, I would come to God. I want to hear the voice and to receive the guidance of love. I have no prayer but this. I come to God to ask for the truth. I want to be led by the truth. And truth is all that there truly is. And I accept it in this day. This is a big leap of faith, to not want to listen to the agreements of the world, the agreements that say, We have hard work to do. We have a world to conquer. We have something to defend and protect. All of that has to be let go. Eventually, why not now? Why not say yes? What is it really that keeps a beloved from saying yes? It's the distrust of the unknown. In the belief of separation, every beloved has incarnated and made a story, made a world that affirms that you have to protect yourself and you have to defend and you have to prove yourself in this world and earn your worth. And that everybody is in some way or another an enemy that needs to be sorted out somehow. But if the truth of every master is truly the truth, and the truth of every master is calling you as you are being called in this moment to recognize that love is all that exists and that everything else has been fabricated, would you be willing to let go of your belief of having enemies? Enemies is such a strong word that the ego would say, oh, I wouldn't call them my enemies. I would call them my neighbors. I would call them my relatives. I would call them my family. I would call them my co-workers. I would call them my friends. I wouldn't call them my enemies. But unless you're truly willing to open the heart and be completely undefended, you have to be believing that these others that you see as separate from you are enemies. It's not an indictment to recognize that you see them as enemies. It's that in order to heal, you have to see what it is that you're healing. You can't play a game of giving them all different names and different lesser identities without seeing that you have actually made them as your enemy, which means that they are dangerous to you, that they hold somehow in a belief of separation, that they hold in a power that they can hurt you, that they can change you, that they can take away something from you. If these are beliefs that are carried, and I promise you that everybody carries them, then we have to see them for what we have really, the identity we've really given to everybody. I use the example of standing in a grocery line so often because it's so accessible to everyone. Well, when you're standing in that grocery line and you're not seeing the beloved, you're seeing an enemy. If you become irritated while you're standing in the grocery line because someone is taking too much time or things aren't as you want them to be, it's because you believe that you're in enemy territory, because you're behind enemy lines and you're afraid of them. And you believe that they can hurt you. The key of this story that is in your identity is that everyone that you've given an identity to of separation is the same identity that you've given to yourself. You believe all the characteristics that you have given to others, they're what you believe you are. They're what you believe in, even if you've projected it onto somebody else. If you see someone that you believe is a thief, there isn't anyone that hasn't stolen something. There isn't anyone that hasn't stolen an idea, stolen something material, stolen something through jealousy, stolen something through wanting what somebody else had, stolen in some way. So who are we calling a thief? Who are we calling someone who lies, as if everyone hasn't lied? By its very nature of the belief of separation, everyone's lied, because everyone's saying all the time, I think I know something, which is all a lie. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing that you can see in someone else that hasn't been an identity you've given yourself. We've all hated. We have all had murderous thoughts. Mm-hmm. The murderous thoughts are anything that is not love. Mm-hmm. Any irritation, any sense that someone has done something to you in any way is all the same as murder. It's because we believe that there are enemies. But in every moment of every journey, including this journey that was walked to awakening, it was the recognition that there was no original thought, that there was no original identity, that it was all the same. And it was all the belief in enemies, and the belief in battle, and the belief in separation, and the willingness to let that go. The willingness not to want to hear the voice of separation, but truly want to hear the voice of love, of God, of wholeness, of peace. And can you hear that voice? Yes. That voice is in no one is not available to that voice. No one. It's not possible because that voice is the truth. That voice is the presence of God. And only God exists. So that voice cannot be unavailable. It can be not heard. It can be ignored. It can be set aside. But it's not possible not to hear the voice of God. It is natural. It is who you are, truly. But all of humanity has been in this belief of separation and has had this agreement, because there's really only one in all of humanity. It's the same agreement. And this same agreement says, no, I'm going to listen to the voice of pain and suffering. I'm going to listen to the voice of separation, differences, levels, degrees, problems. I'm going to listen to that voice. I'm going to believe in that voice. And I'm going to believe while I'm listening to that voice that through that voice I'm going to figure something out. I'm going to figure out a better way. And no one has ever figured out a better way. Listening to the voice of pain and suffering. Is it a dedication? Absolutely, to hear the voice of God. Is it an attention that you may never have even realized was possible within you to hear the voice of God? Absolutely. Is it something that you're not familiar with? Absolutely. Absolutely. The voice of love is wanting and speaking to you all the time. It's not possible that it's not. Not possible. To hear the voice of love is to rest and trust. I've said often that the spiritual book of healing would have 2 words in it: trust and surrender. Page after page after page, one page having trust on it, one page having surrender. Because it always comes back to the same thing. To put your trust, trust is just a word. To give yourself, to trust in what you have not experienced, in what you have not lived, is a big leap of faith. It is the trapeze bar, moving with the trapeze bar, hanging onto the trapeze bar of your life, and here comes trust and surrender, and you have to let go of this identity with life to take the trust and surrender and that empty space in between of the unknown. Every beloved who walks the journey of remembering, everyone who has been called, been stirred to remember, every beloved who has had the awareness that there must be another way, or had the awareness this can't be the truth, this life can't be the truth. Every beloved has had that, and every beloved that will have that has to step into a trust of the divine offerings of teachings that are offered by all masters. It's not that you have to take them all, they're all the same basically, to find the vibration that speaks to you, that calls to your heart. But then you have to trust those teachings. You have to trust the truth that is being brought to you. And that trusting of that truth rails against what you know. Absolutely does. They have nothing in common. The truth has nothing in common with what you think you know. And what you think you know has been your life. It's your story. It's your past. It's your experience within the body. And when you have that experience, you've believed that that's all you could count on. And that you had to glean from there and figure out somehow how to make your life better. But every beloved that asks the question or finds it in their heart to say that there has to be another way, or this can't be all that there is, that questioning opens a door that calls you to a new trust. It's a new trust. It isn't that you haven't trusted, but you've trusted in what you've known. You've trusted in your past. You've trusted that it was true. You've trusted that your identity was true. And here is every master saying, no, your identity is not true. The identity that you made, that you believe you see as separate, and the pain that you've walked through, the suffering that you've believed in, the identity that you've tried to prove, the unworthiness that you've hid from within, all of that is not true. And there is another way. And life, true life, the life force of God that is here, right here, is you. You just aren't aware of it. And you have to, in that yearning, you have to start trusting the unknown. It's not unknown because it's written. It's not unknown because it's offered constantly, but it's unknown to you because when a master says, let go of your defense systems, everything in you at the beginning starts screaming, are you crazy? I'm not letting go of my defense systems. I've worked hard at making these defense systems. I was just getting going with these defense systems. I was just thinking they were getting better, not recognizing that the defense systems themselves are the source of suffering. Not recognizing that the defense systems and the sense of protection are where all the suffering is coming from. All the fear, all the belief of battle is all coming from the belief that there is something to defend, something to protect, and that you have to battle, and you have to prove yourself, prove your worth. The belief of separation holds as one of its main, you can call it a characteristic, you can call it a principle of being in this identity, the belief of scarcity holds like glue the belief of separation together. To believe that there is not enough as a basic belief within the world can't do anything but engender fear. It can't. It's not possible that it could do anything but stir fear and promote fear. The not enough, the belief of scarcity, it's all essentially the belief that there is not enough love, that you have to fight for it, that there isn't enough. There isn't an abundance of love. It's very squeaky, narrow. Every beloved believes that They have to earn their way to love. Even in the spiritual journey, everybody believes that there isn't enough love and that you have to earn yours before somebody else gets your piece of it. The belief of degrees and levels and time all hold that belief in place. And the belief of scarcity shows up in everything. Everyone believes in scarcity. Scarcity of time. Every day, every beloved is in the belief of scarcity of time. But there wouldn't be any running to get things done if you didn't believe that there wasn't a scarcity of time. Scarcity of time means that you're going to die. The fear of death is trying to fight against the scarcity of time. Scarcity of everything that you look at. Anytime you covet something that you believe you don't already have, you're in the belief of scarcity. When you are fantasizing about what it is that you believe you need in order to be okay, you're believing in scarcity. But to accept the truth that there cannot be scarcity, to just accept it, to surrender to it, is to close the voices. I will not listen to anything but the voice of God today. That means I will not dance with, I will not entertain the possibility that there is any scarcity. The voice of God would not be saying to you, you better be careful, there isn't enough. So to not listen to that voice, to not act on that belief is the exquisite spiritual practice. All day long is the opportunity of affirming the voice of God. There is no lack. I cannot be without. I am the wholeness of God. I am one with all of creation. There is no lack in love. There is no lack in God. To accept that voice of love all day long is the road of healing. It no longer tolerates, means that you are no longer tolerating the false lies of lack, separation, differences, battle, enemies. If love is promised, if heaven is promised, if heaven is right here, when Hafiz says, to the poor slaves of this world, with their eyes chained in coins and unforgiving, the wondrousness of the firmament can cease to lift your head and impact your manners. It's to lift yourself into the yes. I will only listen to the voice of love today. I will not focus my attention on the belief of lack. Unforgiveness is certainly the belief of lack. To believe that there is not forgiveness in every moment for everything that you've made up. It's not a forgiveness that has to be bestowed on you. Forgiveness is what you have to accept, what you have to say yes to. I will forgive myself for the false identity I have been believing in. I will forgive all the false identities that I have given to everything and everyone. I forgive it. I disown it. I no longer will hold ownership of this. I surrender it. I forgive it. It's washed clean. I accept forgiveness. Forgiveness is love. But you have to accept it and use that vehicle of love to remember and to wash away the veil that says there is separation, there is battle, there is difficulty. There is an invisible sun that everyone longs to see. The closer you get to the present, the brighter and more real it will become, even at midnight. The closer you get to the present, right here, right now is heaven. The sun is shining. When you no longer are willing to believe the past and spend your attention in the past or fantasizing about the future, you're able to be here, present, in love. Trusting to let go of the past, that's the leap of faith. To no longer want to hold an identity that has fueled self-hatred. You came into incarnation with the belief that you were not love itself. You incarnated because you believed you were separate. So to let go of the past that has been like building blocks, affirming and affirming and affirming that you were right, that you were separate, that life is difficult, that life is always changing and can't be trusted, and you have to get more and more control. To let go of that is to step into the present. It's to let the sun, all the sun's rays, permeate through and become one. An invisible sun we long to see. It won't be invisible when you come into the present, when you come into love. That's what you're looking for. It's just to stop looking in all the wrong directions and to trust. Trusting that's the journey, is trusting. Trusting in the truths of all the teachings, of all the lessons, of all the offerings of every master. To trust that you are loved, that you are loved, that you are whole, that you are innocent, that nothing has happened, when all the evidence says it has. And to trust a new way, to hold on to that trust, and to surrender everything that you thought you knew, moment to moment, and to begin again and again and again, and to trust again and again and again. And to learn to love, to learn how to love, There's a beautiful hymn that says, "Mother, oh my mother, please come here, please, and teach these children of yours who don't yet know how to love." In the world, there is a belief that you're figuring out how to love. But all the love in the world is based on appearances and behaviors. We offer approval to those who behave as we want them to behave, and we offer approval to those who have the appearances that we approve of. And this isn't love. If you had two beloveds in front of you and one was the answer to the fantasy of all the things that you were looking for, beautiful body, successful, smart, whatever, all those attributes of the world that say this is what's good as opposed to what's bad. And then there was another beloved there that wasn't necessarily smart, maybe looked like a troll, not well dressed, not successful. What are you loving? What are you loving? The appearance, the behavior. To be taken by the hand of God and to be taken past appearances, past behaviors, past identities, to see the beloved, to see the sun, the brightness, the beauty that is within every beloved. That is the journey. And to accept that beauty within and to refuse to entertain self-hatred, self-loathing, self-judgment, criticism, judgment of any kind, disturbance of any kind, either outside or inside, because it's all the same. The outside is just the reflection. The entire universe is right here. The universe of God. Universe of love. And the way out of the cage is to want to see and hear only the voice of love. You have that power within you. You don't believe that you have that power to choose within you because there's been an agreement in the world of everyone being a victim. Mm-hmm. That you're at the effect of everything and that you have to protect somehow. But this is all just a defense system. You have this power within you to choose love, to choose peace and harmony, and to see the beauty and perfection in everyone. And if you can't see the beauty and perfection in everyone, the first step is to want to hold that as your key to peace and harmony, and to hear the cry for help that is coming through the appearances and behavior of every beloved, in unhappiness, in disturbances, in upsets. to hear the cry for help that is actually your own cry for help. When you're finally able to hear the cry for help coming from a beloved, that is your cry for help. It's one cry. It's being truly helpful because it opens your heart. To hear that cry for help is to recognize there is no beloved that carries any identity that is not your identity. Every beloved is you. Every beloved. Everything is you. And the willingness to see past the appearances, past behaviors. They don't mean anything. They're made up. The costumes and the playing out. There was a character years ago on Saturday Night Live that would always, after saying a few words, start laughing and say, "I'm acting." That's what everybody's doing. Acting. And that's the first step, is to recognize you're acting. Acting as if. But it's letting go of the behavior. It's letting go of the appearances that you think prove something. And opening the heart. And being willing to follow the voice of God that is coming through every teaching and in every moment of stillness as you rest. Rest the mind, rest in God. Let go of what you think you know. And accept this divine stillness of love. Letting your heart burst with joy. And the first step to the heart bursting with joy is the joy of not being right about what you think you know. This is an exquisite place in the temporary journey of remembering, is the recognition, oh, thank God I wasn't right about what I thought I knew about appearances and behaviors and the world and the belief of separation and the belief of scarcity. Thank God I wasn't right. Thank God I'm mistaken. Thank God there is heaven right here in this moment. Can I put my trust and faith in that promise? Can I drink in as deeply as possible every sacred truth? Not to understand it, not to get it, not to figure it out, not to make it and find a way to make it fit into my world, but to invite the truth so that it dissolves the world that I made up. Not trying to get it to fix the world, but to dissolve it. And behind the dissolving of the made-up belief of separation is heaven. Garden of love. It's right here. Right here, just beyond the perceptions of agreements. The belief of death, the belief of limitation. Opening that door. In this moment, If there's a question, allow your heart to speak. To just hold the question as you open in every moment. Just hold the question, what do you want? And what are you putting your trust into? Where are you bringing your trust? What are you trusting in the moment? What you know? Or the offerings, the teachings of divine transformation? And trusting the voice of God. And they all work together, because asking what do you truly want is really essential to bring you back to sanity again and again and again, to remember what it is that you truly want. And affirming that and bringing your yes to that as deeply as possible. So as we close, offer your prayer of yes to every beloved, and offer your prayer of what you truly want to every beloved, not in words but in your heart opening, that you truly want to remember and offer them, that you truly want to remember peace and harmony in the moment, and are willing to see the brightness of the sun in the present moment, affirming the truth of love, the truth of harmony, the truth of abundance.